Well, good morning everyone and welcome to the show. Fernando's running late. He had an appointment. So let's just pretend we say hi. Hi, hola. Yeah, okay. Anyways, today we have a Corvette. That's right, the American classic. That old guy muscle car. If you're a young guy and have one of these, it's okay. It's all right. But how young are you really? This guy is filled with all kinds of fun and excitement as far as what that customer has done to it. Let's take a look, shall we? He has pinstriping on the hood, pinstriping around the door handles, a custom armrest cover with red accent. He brought us both tops. Why? He has the tail end all dressed up with the cool light covers with the logos and more pinstriping and chrome here and chrome next to the license plate and chrome tips and the cool Corvette logo on the back. This car is straight pimpin'. However, one thing that has been neglected this whole time is the radio. It's still got the factory radio. Not only that, it has that original factory Bose stereo. There's nothing here. There's nothing, ugh. He's had this car parked for about a month, hasn't driven it. He just got back into it and he was like, man, I'm tired of the way this thing sounds. I'm ready for an upgrade. He doesn't want to do anything crazy, which is perfectly cool. He doesn't want to mess with any of the factory parts, meaning he just wants everything to be hidden. He wants to keep the factory look on the dash. He doesn't want to go with the new double din. He's like, I just want it to sound better and not break the bank. I was like, no problem. We got the perfect system for you. Let's take a look at what we're gonna do to this. First up, we're gonna do this guy. This is the Kenwood X-Line KMM-X503. And what makes this guy unique is it is a mechless radio, meaning there's no mechanism in it, no CD player. It's a short chassis. Look at that, yeah. Which is great because there was never a lot of room behind the dash in these Corvettes. So this will definitely make installation a dream come true. Make that fit in the dash, the old school BKGM K434, which is just a universal GM kit. We can countersync this thing all the way, so that'll be nice. Of course, standard GM harness and antenna adapter. You can find all your parts at pack-audio.com or metroonline.com. But the big thing about this guy is that it has a USB here on the front, an aux jack, and of course the all-important Bluetooth for phone calls and streaming. He is into streaming XM, Spotify. He's like, I just want a radio I can do that on. I was like, no problem, we got that. And we're not just doing a radio, we're actually doing everything. We're going with a 5-channel amplifier to deliver the maximum with what we're doing. And for that, we chose the Exelon X802.5 5-channel amplifier. One of the reasons why we picked this amplifier is its size. This guy here, though compact in size, still gonna give us the 50 watts by 4 and 500 watts to our subwoofer. As far as our subwoofers goes, we're gonna go with a nice down-firing Kicker Comp RT box. It fits right in front of the top that was in the trunk of the car. Snug right in there, perfect. It's up close to him, so it'll give him a ton of bass. Most of the time when we're talking about a Corvette, we're gonna put the subwoofer in this location here. Fit a shell mount woofer, but he's used to having bigger bass, and my thought was by putting that woofer up closer to his head, it'll be nice and loud and feel good. This will also free up this space here. We can mount the amplifier down here on a nice flush panel, do the wiring nice and pretty. It'll look good. For the front doors, to replace those factory Bose 7, 8-inch speakers, we're gonna go with a set of 6x9 Exelons. Depth is not a big concern for us with these. We have room. We're gonna go with these guys right here and get tons of mid bass out of those front doors. Those are subwoofers from the factory. I wanna keep that strong mid bass up front. These guys have a ton of it. These will go right in and sound great. Plus it's gonna allow us to move that tweeter down. Once we get the door off, we'll show you what we're dealing with. We'll get that tweeter down from up high with the door panel covering it, so we can actually get some sound out of the front of the car, not just that bland, flat sound that it has. And of course, no car would be complete without rear fill. For this, we're gonna try to fit these 5 1/4s in there. It's a 6-inch, but it's real shallow and tight, and yeah. So this is my goal, is to try to get these guys into the rear. As I said at the beginning, he's an older gentleman. He's used to driving in cars that have rear sound. So there's no reason to not keep him happy by saying, no, let's just put him a bunch of front. He's not gonna like that. He's used to having 3 1/2s in the front, 6x9s in the rear, old school style. That's how he grew up. That's how he likes it. So we're gonna put with these. And the nice thing with these, for those of you that aren't familiar with Corvettes, this is the rear speaker location here and here. So they don't have to be giant, they don't have to be huge, but they will give you, of course, plenty of rear fill from the seated position. Now I know a lot of you aren't into that and you'll freak out, but like I said, it's the customer's car and you have to design the system for the customer. It's not my car, all right? If he wants some rear fill, he gets some rear fill. But that's the list of goodies we're gonna put in it. So next, start getting this car apart more so than it already is and figure out where everything's gonna go, figure out what kind of brackets we have to make and the whatnot. Really, the question is, we need to get the doors off because I need to figure out what I'm gonna do with that bracket there if I already have one made that will work, or if I need to make a second one, and also to get that rear 6.5 out to make sure that the 5.25 are gonna fit. That's why I didn't open them, because if they're not gonna go in there, I have to go grab something else. And I don't wanna have to rebox them and stuff like that. Are you ready? For me, I need to do a little exploratory surgery, and I need to get into this area down here and get this side of the car apart. We know what the radio looks like behind there. Fernando, of course, is going to be working over here on this door panel first, then he's going to move into the back area and get that 5.25 out for me. But I need to get down here, get to the factory amplifier. We need to see what kind of plugs we need. There's lots of room, just exploratory. Let's hit it. Well, I had thought the Bose amp was down here, but that might be on a different year, because I know there is one that has it here, but that's okay. I'm gonna keep going, moving along the side here, getting the rest of this panels apart. Now, after sitting here and taking this apart and thinking about it for a minute, where the amplifier is finally dawned on me in this one, because it's been a minute. This one actually used a two-part system. The factory radio powered the four corners, meaning the two in the front and these two in the back, and then there was an external little amplifier that powers the subwoofers in the door. I forgot all about that. However, we do have the speakers out. The other unique thing about this car is if you want to get this panel out, which we don't need to, we just need to be able to run wire behind it. But to get this panel out, you have to remove the strut in order to do that, because it goes through the panel, which was a real stupid design for sure. But hey, you know, that's what happens. Looking at the car, he has clearly put some thermal treatment in here, which is kind of nice. Probably helped kill some of the road noise that everyone loves that these cars have, but I figured that was the reason why you buy them. It looks like Fernando's got the door off, so let's take a look at that too. Oh, one other thing, if you are just looking to replace the speakers, the grill just pops off. You don't have to take any of this out to get to it. We were taking it off so we could run wires.
Before you start removing the door panel, just look around and see if you can find those kind of clips, like right here and the door handle behind this door, and just grab you pry tool. And we have Torx behind this panel. We're gonna grab our skinny panel tool, then you grab the plastic one. Under the door panel we have the reflector light. Carefully pry it out. It has two clips in here, metal clip in the bottom. We have a 10mm in the bottom side. We have one main clip. Just unplug it and the door panel is free. Actually, you don't even have to take the 10mm. It's underneath right here. To remove the speaker, we have 7mm.
This is what this looks like. It kind of looks like a round head with a top hat, but that's the hole that we're going to be dealing with. The 6x9 will fit. You do have to trim a little bit here and here to get it to fit, which is fine. But let's head over to the bench and we'll take a look at the actual speakers that we took out. This is our factory speaker. It has this standard Bose magnet up front, spider in the back, real thin, which is funny because there's tons of room in that door. Hey, whatever. Then you have this little 4-inch that sits up here in the top. Now the way this sits in the door, if you remember the door panel, that 4-inch just gets covered totally by the door panel. With this being the age that it is, in the past we have made an adapter for it. As you can see, it lines up perfect. How I made the adapter was pull this out, turn turn this upside down, mount it onto a piece of plastic, and take it over the router and just ride the bearing around it and drill the holes, and you end up with this. This is a 6x9 adapter that we've used. This is going to sit just like this on here as far as we're gonna cut this shape out of here. That'll take this 6x9 and mount it down nice and low so that this area here that's covered by the door panel, well, who cares? We'll have our tweeter right in the center of that grill where it'll come through and give us a nice loud sound. We'll router two of these out a 1/2 inch because it is a bigger panel and we don't want it to flex. Once we've routed those out, we'll attach these. You know what? You're gonna see us do it, so don't worry about it. I'll just show you step by step as we go through it. For the rear, we have this 6-inch here. It is fairly deep. The problem is the way this mounts in. There is a panel that comes in right here, so this just fits in perfectly snug. For the rear, we're gonna be using the Kenwood Exelon KFCX 174s. Now inside the box with the 174s, it does come with these universal adapters here, and all of these have grills in them. We have a pretty beefy size magnet on the back, and all of the Exelons are gonna have this cloth tweeter inside of them. And when comparing it to the factory, clearly has a bigger magnet. Depth-wise is about the same. Actually, this is a little deeper than this one, the way it's built. The whole pattern lines up perfect. This is gonna be a perfect speaker in that rear location. The first step to making these is to cut out two pieces a 1/2 inch, about 1 inch longer and 1 inch wider than this shape right here. The next step is to tape both pieces together using some Mobile Solutions template tape, then grabbing the template and taping that on top of our two pieces to be cut out.
Now that we're done drilling the holes, we're gonna separate the template. Next step is put the 6x9 template